Hi everybody, welcome back to Paleontologists Rank, the Dinosaurs of Jurassic World Evolution 2. Today we're looking at our first Centrosaurian ceratopsian, Styracosaurus, which is one of my personally favorite dinosaurs. Before we get into it, we should briefly introduce ourselves for anybody new to the channel. My name is James Napoli. I'm a postdoctoral researcher at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences and North Carolina State University.
I am Amelia Zietlow. I'm a PhD candidate at the American Museum of Natural History.
I'm Scott Johnston. I am the vertebrate paleontology fossil preparator and technician at the Harvard University Museum of Comparative Zoology.
I'm Alexander Rubenstahl. I'm a PhD candidate at Yale University.
Cordially yours, I'm Dalton Meyer, also a PhD candidate at Yale University.
Now, before we get into it,
Together,
we're obliged.
We're the skeleton crew.
Yes, we are.
The skeleton crew.
Now, before we
Like
get
the
into it,
skeleton.
it's worth mentioning that it is required that you like and subscribe as a response to this video. We have to ask you to because it does benefit us tremendously if you do. It helps us grow the channel and find more viewers, and of course, we want to share this with as many people as possible. We do
And
consider
if you
it.
don't like,
It's a big fucky wucky if you don't like,
if you
and
don't
we might
like
have
it,
to put you in the forever box.
You have to go in the forever box.
Right.
The worms that live behind my eyes yell at me when people don't like them, and that keeps Dalton up. When
I
I'm
hear that
scurrying
through the
across
wall.
the ceiling, it's hard to not listen to.
So everybody,
Yeah, I'll-
please like and subscribe. It's very late here, and we're recording the third of hopefully 5 videos tonight, and we're so tired.
I've set up a little Dinosaur Park Formation as well as Dinosaur Park, inhabited almost entirely by Styracosaurus. We do have one Dinosaur Park friend with them, who is this lonely Euoplosaurus. But we're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about these kings. Styracosaurus. James, you mentioned it's your favorite ceratopsian. It's also my favorite ceratopsian. Perhaps because it was featured in the game Primal Prey, which is, I think, where I learned about it as a youth, which is a knockoff of carnivores, but with, I think, better dinosaur designs.
That one was the game that had all the designs were by Todd Marshall, right? Where it had like
Yes.
absolutely just amazingly cool designs.
Yes. I don't know if they were by him or if they were just inspired by him, but yeah, they're very Todd Marshall.
This is the only dinosaur that gives, like, big game hunter. Right? Like, if these things were alive, you know people would be trying to hunt them as trophies constantly.
Oh, yeah.
Would you not want that up on your wall?
We've talked about this, Scott. This is the only thing I would want up on my wall. In fact, this was one of the conversations that made us friends.
We did. I remember I made a pretty strong argument for Ceratosaurus, but I do think that Styracosaurus is absolutely the king of that.
It's just beautiful. I love the huge spikes on the frill. I love the colors that they give it on this game. So in our Triceratops episode, which will be linked right now in case you haven't seen it, we mentioned the parietal fenestrae in the frill.
Hang on, let me go to a different one that has better. There we go.
Yeah, so we mentioned that most ceratopsians have these giant holes in their frills. And you can see them really clearly outlined here with color. I think that this is a totally reasonable way to color the animal. We have no way if the coloration really followed the margins of the fenestrae, but it's possible that they did. It's not really clear that the fenestrae had a lot of function. It probably just made the frill a lot lighter, which is important. The head on these animals is enormous. The occipital condyle that joins the head to the spine is like a big-ass... What's the word? It's like a trailer hitch, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a giant circle.
Ball.
Right, it's just a giant ball. It's really cool to look at. The animals were dealing with a lot of trouble in trying to keep their heads supported, so you lighten the head as much as possible by carving out giant vacuities in your frill. Most ceratopsians have those. Triceratops is one of the few that doesn't. And I think that they're really well displayed in the Styracosaurus model.
Yeah. I love the way, and I mean, this is in the design because it's just this way in the animal, but I just love the way that the horns on the frill radiate out and away from it. It's just so
Gorgeous.
pleasing to look at.
Yeah.
Although this is something that I would love to see in, I guess, other games, especially, I guess this is something I would love to see in Prehistoric Kingdom, if they eventually add some more individual variation things to it, that there've been a lot of specimens of Styracosaurus that have some kind of different morphology and orientation of those frill horns. The epiparietals, are they?
Epiparietals and episquamosals. Yeah.
Epiparietals and episquamosals, the frill horns, the spikes. And some of them being a little bit more kind of like squished together on one side, a little bit more asymmetrical, kind of actually to kind of go off of what James said, kind of like you see on deer, that sometimes they could just be a little asymmetric. And I think it adds some really cool, like, personality to these animals that we even see in the fossil record, which is just fantastic.
It is interesting because they are bones that are growing like bones do, and bones are not commonly asymmetric like that, like in gross morphology. Like antlers are kind of weird because they're essentially tumors that are growing in predictable patterns. It's kind of odd to me that they're so asymmetric, but there's a lot of evidence that they were, so, you know, it's just one of those things. I feel like that should be looked into a little bit more. But it's cool.
Do we know that this is individual variation and not species differences?
Well, that's a good question.
Or is that, yeah.
Because there are very similar looking centrosaurians.
Oh,
with
that's a
frill
good
horns.
animation. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Love that.
Tremendous that was.
We love it, folks. We love it.
Yeah, Centrosaurian taxonomy is kind of difficult because there's an argument being made and advanced in a lot of papers that they undergo these extremely pronounced ontogenetic transformations as well. So you've got like individual variation layered on top of ontogeny, layered on top of the evolutionary interrelationships of the animals. I think that generally we attribute a lot of the morphology to intraspecific variation, but there are a couple of other species that are really similar to Styracosaurus. So one of these was called Rubeosaurus, which is currently considered Styracosaurus. Just, I think some people retain it as a different genus. I can actually check this. And I should, before I put my foot in my mouth.
But you can actually see a lot of the different variation in the frill horns of Styracosaurus and Rubeosaurus, or probably just Styracosaurus again, or possibly just Styracosaurus again. If you watch the Dinosauria Old Buck episode, because in the behind the scenes of the making of that, Dead Sound mentions that every Styracosaurus that you see on there is based on an actual specimen of Styracosaurus.
Oh, that's cool.
A side note about that, that's probably my favorite depiction of a ceratopsian in any media ever, because he actually like puts effort into making them look very cool. And like I mentioned in the Triceratops video, doing something with the horns other than just making them horns. Like I really like the black and white stripes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's very cool.
It's a gorgeous design.
I like the big eye spots in this design.
Oh yeah.
On the frill.
Yeah, I love it. So I did check. So Rubeosaurus might be a second species of Styracosaurus. There's kind of two camps. One is that it's just an individual variant, and it's Styracosaurus albertensis, which is the type species. Some people say it's a different species, but it should be within the genus Styracosaurus, and they make it Styracosaurus ovatus. And then other people have still maintained that it could be Rubeosaurus ovatus, as a different genus entirely. Then there's another thing that's very similar that's a little bit older and more primitive, and that's currently given its own genus named Stellosaurus. But there are all of these basals, or not basal, but there are all of these centrosaurians that have this kind of radiating spike pattern around the frill. And they're all very similar to one another. I suspect as more complete fossil material is found, a lot of that might change. Because Styracosaurus is the only one known from like good quality remains.
It does live alongside several other dinosaurs that we are going to see later in this game, but also a few we don't, like Ioneosaurus. Would love to see that more because it's got that weird downturned nose horn. Lambeosaurus, which is very sadly underrepresented. It's one of my favorite hadrosaurs.
I'm surprised it's not in this game, frankly.
Yeah, seriously.
Well,
I think it was planned for the other one though, right?
I think so. I mean, it's in Prehistoric Kingdom, thank God.
Yeah.
That's
It's
what
so
I meant. So it's
pretty.
it's in Prehistoric Kingdom.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the Dinosaur Park Formation is just amazingly rich. What's fun, though, is that Styracosaurus is from the middle of it, which is actually not when a lot of the more famous dinosaurs in the Dinosaur Park are alive. I think the Dinosaur Park Formation fossils are richest in the lower levels. That's where you find, like, Gorgosaurus is from there. I think Lambeosaurus is from there. Corythosaurus.
And Parasaurolophus.
Yeah, like, you're getting into, like, the kind of Griposaurus Procerolophus zone. Up where
I've got
this
a
guy
gripe
is.
with that.
You've entered the Griposaurus zone.
Would you like to leave?
Would you like to know more?
I would. What I would like to do is see if this animal can fight, unlike the other animal from the Dinosaur Park Formation that we saw recently.
Oh, the poor Euoplocephalus massacre.
God,
Well,
they're
we
just
can see it
beautiful.
fight. We're prepared. Although before we see it fight, maybe let's see it come into the world so we don't have to bounce back and
yes.
forth between.
Good idea.
Right. I agree
Here
with you,
comes
Dalton.
the Styracosaurus.
We see you. Awa sees you.
God,
These
they're
are
beautiful.
just more majestic than Triceratops. Like, okay, I know the feet are still wrong, but somehow they look wrong in a more correct way.
Yeah, I mean, this is objectively not... I can't say it's the best ceratopsian I've seen in a video game because Prehistoric Kingdom exists.
Right.
Their Styracosaurus, though, is just chef's kiss.
Beautiful,
Perfect.
beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. But this is, I think, my favorite ceratopsian in this game, for sure. I just love it.
Yeah, I think you're.
I'd agree with that.
Probably, yeah.
Let's
get some-
I'm in love.
Let's cause some bodily harm to them.
This action
you
could
love
result
it-
in harm toward the Styracosaurus.
When you love something, make it fight for its life.
I like how they just
Here-
come out and the Styracosaurus are just waiting.
clips through them.
Yeah. This game's got a clipping problem.
It does. The dinosaurs do just kind of go through trees and rocks and each other.
Was it?
What
is
if
it
they all
just
go
me
for the
or-
Oplocephalus?
They know it's an easy kill. They've watched our previous episodes.
Oh,
Our
no.
Anodontosaurus.
Or Anodontosaurus, yes.
I like his sideways run. I know it's not about him, but that was fun.
He's just kind of hopping.
Sorry, James, you were going to say something?
Was I? I don't even know.
Okay. No, Scott, you were. The dinosaur clipping.
Oh, I was going to say, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that better in Jurassic World 1?
I just don't remember.
It might have been, but something I remember about the first game that I noticed was gone in this game is I had a lot less problems with animals and objects and myself getting stuck in places because everything just clips and it's okay. You can walk through trees. The dinosaurs can walk through trees. They're not starving because they're trapped behind
A
bush.
tree. Right.
or a tree or a rock. You know, like, so for the purposes of the game being fun and not annoying to play because I have a dinosaur trapped behind a rock, I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's a good
also...
point.
I think that the first game also, like, kind of didn't have as much of a social system. Like, remember when the dinosaurs would socialize and they'd just kind of stand in a circle and talk to each other?
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, it wasn't even the one.
Oh,
no!
There goes the
way.
Windows sound.
That was really cool. It also attacked it straight on the horn.
The animal
It's its
impaled
weak point.
itself. It'll never expect an attack right down its horn.
It did like it was getting risk control.
God. You know what I've been thinking about watching again, Alex?
Black Dynamite.
Well, yeah, always. But no, I was talking about surviving edged weapons.
Oh, I want to watch that.
We did.
We did watch it. I was asleep for almost the entire time out of sheer exhaustion. I was so determined to
We were
stay
so-
up and I couldn't.
Was I with you when you watched?
Yes.
Who was in your house?
I,
We were also very tired. Everyone was
also very
exhausted.
tired.
So speaking of surviving edged weapons,
I don't know.
James, you want to talk about what this animal's name means? Because it is an edged weapon.
Yes, I do. I want to be the little Poindexter who talks about
Dork.
ancient dead languages. Yeah, the Styrax is two things in ancient Greek. One, it was a name for a tree that has the genus name Styrax. Wait, let's watch this happen again.
Isn't that
Oh my god!
Jesus.
I made them as strong as they can be, and I made the Albertosauruses as weak as they could be.
You
This
know,
is so upsetting.
Maybe is there a weaker small? Do it against Moros. It can beat.
What if the
I like
Mortis
this.
kills
This
it in one
mist is
shot
very
too?
cool. This is making it very like Phil Tippett's prehistoric beast.
Oh god, I
Maybe
love that.
What about the Chinjaosaurus? Is that weaker than
Check their
Albertosaurus?
combat ratings.
Probably. So this Albertosaurus's combat rating is where is that? Here?
Attack 20. No, it was on the info.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna interject really quickly because you brought up botany.
Right.
Styrax is not it doesn't produce fruit that's edible, I don't believe. It's a snowbell tree because it's got dangly
Oh,
white flowers related to the spice bush plants as well.
but the cooler Styrax was the Styrax that was the metal spike you'd put on the end of your spear. So in ancient Greek warfare, right, they used hoplite formations. So hoplites would carry a very long spear. They call them sarissa pikes, or just sarissai. Sarissas were about 21 feet long and had a gigantic spear tip on the end. It's really cool. But they also had a big spike on the other end called the styrax that they'd use to plant them into the ground when they were trying to resist the charge from an opposing formation. Right? Because if you brace the spear, especially a cavalry charge, that is not going to go well for the horses. So the styrax was the short spike at the end of the spear. Not at the tip, but at the butt end that they had planted to the ground. And that's what gives this animal its name. So it's
That's cool.
spear spike
Cool.
lizard or styrax lizard, as you like it.
That is cool.
No one's surprised. The Styrax plant has very pointy leaves.
It's a spiky sounding word.
It is I like the word a lot, and I like that both the animal and the plant that included in its name, like, have spikes.
All right. Well, is there anything else we have to say about Styracosaurus before we give it a rating?
I don't think so. It's just pretty based.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I like it a lot.
Beautiful.
Let's head on over to the species viewer and get out of our little massacre park before things get too out of hand.
What is it about the Dinosaur Park Formation? Is it because these animals are Canadian? They can't fight?
No, it's actually it's funny. You mentioned that. What's actually going on is it knows it's supposed to be an incredibly rich fossil deposit, and the Albertosaurus are working. They have quotas. They're like, oh, this all has to fossilize.
We
They're
gotta kill
just killing
thousands.
everything. They gotta fulfill the quotas.
Ooh, I'm kind of digging that bright green.
Yeah, I'm digging the bright green.
She was digging the bright green. I was digging this like mottled gray, but we'll do bright green.
I think Styracosaurus for me is
The green
green.
animal?
It like Albertosaurus is
Mhm.
blue.
It's blue. The Styracosaurus is blue for me because that's primal prey. Styracosaurus is mostly blue.
I see. I think all of mine were green.
Let's go with this. All right, James.
All right, well, it's beautiful, elegant. This is not only a fairly paleontologically accurate design, which is always a big winner for me, because I do like when they go above and beyond to do that. It's just gorgeous. This animal's gorgeous. The model of it is gorgeous. Really does the animal justice. Not only can you tell that this is Styracosaurus, but you like looking at it. I work this into every park I make in this game, without fail. I love it. S tier.
Yeah, I think I also very much love this animal. I came very close, like way back long ago when I was deciding what animals I wanted to work on. I came very, very, very close to working on Styracosaurus instead of Mosasaurus. And yeah, I love it a lot. I think the game does a very good job of showing that it is very pretty. They're giving it bright colors, they're giving it designs on the frill. And the animal itself is just fantastic, so I'll agree and give it S.
Yeah, definitely, without question. This thing's S. I don't have anything to add that we haven't said before, besides it's pretty. I love its bright colors. I love its big old patterns on the frill. And it's just, its social animation is great. I wish I could fight back against things, but that's a constant issue. It's stunning. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic design. And Dalton, you're right. Watching it walk, somehow the hands, even though they're still wrong, look less wrong.
Yeah.
I love the texturing of the skin. I mean, I think I think there's a ceratopsian I prefer to this one in this game. This one's gorgeous. I would say a very high A. The fact that
so it's treason then.
Honestly, watching it get like head smacked by an Albertosaurus to death kind of spoiled it just like a tiny bit. It's gorgeous, but like soft.
For
So,
me,
yeah.
oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say A. Just to
I don't have anything to add to the conversation, but I do have something to add.
Oh wait, and it's a Jurassic Park Operation Genesis
Yeah.
alum.
It is. I don't think that there's any dinosaurs in JPOG that aren't in the game.
No, they're all in it, but this was
Yeah.
one that I think, right? It was a new addition to the.
That was the first time it was in the franchise filmically. It's in the books, but you never see it.
Yes.
Okay.
But no, what I went up to get is that I bought, to give you my opinion of Styracosaurus, at the last SVP, there was some wonderful pins that were on sale, and I bought a Styracosaurus pin.
Ooh.
It is
Fun
my favorite
fact, I
Ceratopsian.
have the same pin.
But if you
I wonder
want a Styracosaurus skull illustration on a sticker or a water
Cheap
bottle
article of clothing.
or any article of clothing, especially a mini skirt, go to our Redbubble page where Amelia will have uploaded by the time we release this video. Amelia will have uploaded a skull illustration of Styracosaurus for your purchasing pleasure. So take a look there. But if you want a pin made by our friend,
If you want a pin by our friend Meg Kirkpatrick, we will link to her social media right now because they're fantastic. They're very well made. They're very good. They're lovely.
They're beautiful. In fact, I think I need to follow up with her because I had tried to custom order something from her and then I dropped that line of communication. I need to follow up because I would like it.
I got the Utah Raptor one because it's my favorite dinosaur.
Oh, that's cool.
This is an S for me,
That's a
by
good
the way.
dinosaur.
All
This is
right.
unequivocally an S for me. This is so good.
It's a beautiful design. So in that case,
4 S's and an A.
I will officially rank it. Styracosaurus is designated, if I can find it, S tier.
Next time on the Skeleton Crew.
We will be reviewing
Ooh. The wheel itself. Another S.
Oh my goodness.
A piece of.
Oh boy!
Oh boy.
Yay! Actually, all right. I might have controversial opinions about this.
Our first
Ornithomimosaurus.
wheel chosen theropod.
Ornith-
Wow!
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
sh!
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's one that kind of sucks.
It is.
Spoilers.
Spoilers. I mean, the animal and the real animal, and
It also sucks in real life.
it's just a very mid ornithomimosaur.
All right,
well,
everybody.
We'll talk about it next week.
We will.
Yeah.
So next week, join us again and we'll talk about Struthia mimus. Remember to like and
Run,
subscribe.
Don't walk like an ornithomimosaur to our next video.
Right. And to make sure you find it, remember to subscribe, hit that bell. We thank you all for your support. Check out our Redbubble if you want to buy any merch that reps the Skeleton Crew. And we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.